fourth round.
The fight fairly effectively here. Went down very, very low fast, but Frankie wasn't quite able to connect those final rounds. And now Frankie is in danger with Tony K and Sakura on the bottom floor. They will need to call for reinforcement, and in they come. Team Secret rallying around their high ground player. Sakura on the windowsill, looking for the shots. Pre-fires the angle and actually catches Zerus on the crossing. Beautifully found, and now Tony K has a turn up the staircase.
He's going to go ahead and camp up here, Frankie. Holding it down, nades cooking. Don't think it's going to have any impact. I'd like him to pull it back if I was him. Sakura, though, very limited health. And finally taken down. Team Secret taking this fight in stride, and an opportunity. Down player is here, and they will be successful. While E-Arena starts to run on fumes, Joker last alive. And I just don't know if he's going to have what it takes to take down the four-man unit of Team Secret.
This is an important fight to have concluded early. With the circle as it sits, teams are going to start to move towards the northern shore. E-Arena not being there opens the door for teams like Yangon Galacticos, like Power at the moment, to potentially try and sweep on through. It also leaves a little bit of an opening for Weibo on the west flank to maybe move over that long Georgia Pole bridge.
Notice Ida starts to move across the western bridge. APG to follow suit. Thundertalk most likely going to go across eastern. They won't have anybody there. APG's going to have to fight really hard to continue their way to center zone. That's why Yangon Galacticus is in such a great spot. Although Smile, I do feel he's a bit spread out from his roster, and that gives me a little bit of concern. I understand you want to lock down these bridges, and that's great for eliminations, that's great for points, but stay with your boys. Stay together. There's no reason to get too antsy here.
Taking a shot on the stairs. I mean, that kind of feels antsy to me.
I would say so.
A little bit of a pop there. Maybe a signal of things to come. They weren't able to close down, getting a little bit too over-aggressive. They've taken some damage, but they're establishing control on both sides of the river now for Yangon Galacticos. So a lot of overlooked positions, and that's the danger that you play into crates, right? It's so open around the edge. Getting out of there, if you overcommit early, is really, really difficult once teams start to move in. We're on board with APG, though, now, and they are being careful on their bridge crossing, but they needn't be. Oh, maybe. Okay, no, he's fine. He's around the edge of that blockade. They're zigzagging, they're going left, they're going right, and they are fighting ghosts right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We had, I know you would, we have a situation with Yangon Galacticus who were in this very spot when they won a game on Erangel. What, a couple days back, right? It was Team Secret who ended up crashing in on a roster on the ridgeline, or maybe was it Yangon Galacticus who? Yes, and then remember, then they crashed in, and they ended up taking a victory, and it was very, very close to where they currently are. So
it was APG,
and so they've won a game in this very spot, basically, or at least close to it. So familiar territory. They've already got a W here. Maybe they can replicate it.
Oh, well, they'll definitely be trying to, that's for certain. They would love to take home that chicken dinner and that title. The $500,000 in prize money. It's weighing heavily on the mind. And Weibo trying to weigh up to them. 5 points short of the match point boundary right now. They do need to earn 5 more. You can see they're posted up right now close to the west bridge on Georgia Pole. A long rotate across that bridge. It can get pretty dangerous, but at the moment there's only one team on the northern shore. That is Team Secret. That will change pretty quickly, though. We've got teams starting to move in from the north. You've got Alter Ego, you've got Aura. Yangon Galacticos unlikely to go to North George, but potential for this area to get a little bit more packed.
For Alter Egos, maybe even fourth rise, but focused on Alter Egos, who I feel have been doing decently well today. They can have a good game here. There is a big chance potentially they can start to do what Weibo's been doing, right? Rallying back, breaking in to smash point. This game is critical to get close to that narrative, and then the next Miramar, maybe they surpass it, game 6, they can steal the whole tournament away, which would be insane, right, from Alter Egos and how well they've been playing. You look at Krypton yesterday, his clutch against Regnum Cario was incredible. So that would cap off a wonderful storyline we've been developing for this Alter Ego roster. Now, let's see where this next zone ends up going. And it's going to go straight towards Alter Ego up top, and Yangon Galacticus, who do make the audible, they follow Smile up ahead. Seems to have paid off because they're now well within the next zone.
That is a crazy hard shift up towards the north side. Yangon Galacticos immediately go to the northern shore. Power under pressure. Weibo on the western side, moving over that west Georgia Pole bridge. APG, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them following Thunder Talk all the way out to the east, play that Rozhok bridge, insert over to the east-hand side of this next circle, but it's all on what Yangon Galacticos can do with the control that they've got over this river crossing.
Pushing Falcons back, Narvalo saying, okay, let me go ahead and scout out and see if that house is available. Well, it's simply not. He doubles back in, takes a couple more shots, and Renat says, look, you gotta stay away, brother. I'm not playing around with you. Falcons getting testing the waters just a little bit, but Yangon Galacticos hold it down. Regnum Karya also in the area, and we're still moving. Yangon Galacticos going forward, potentially challenging that of Falcons.
Oh, Mernat looking to try and clock Koa as he spins out the buggy or tries to connect on the tire. Maybe Ralph in danger, but he's pushed back. Yangon Galacticos have allowed about 4 teams through their position now for no benefit. They've got such a blockade that now sits to their north that was all southwards of them before. They retreat and they fold back.
This is interesting, and now APG getting relatively close over at Rozhok. There is a chance maybe they clash depending on the route APG decides to take. I assume they're going to go more east and then go up north towards where Thunder Talk is currently at. But I agree with you. Yangon Galacticos letting Falcons get through along with a multitude of other rosters now puts them in a tough spot because you guarantee, well, I can't guarantee, but I at least think they're going to have to go north.
This is the thing, right? They didn't do either of the things that position was good for. One, hold teams out towards the south. Take aggressive fights, force a blockade, force a traffic jam on that south side, and choke those rotations out. 2, head north before everyone else. You already have that advantage in terms of the pacing, and they've done neither. They took a little peek here and there, and they played it timid. They folded back into their compound, and now they're on the edge of the circle. They can still do something from here, right? There is still that opportunity, but I feel like they may have made a mistake in this situation. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to pan out that way. I also spotted Weibo tilting teams towards the top, right? They rotated up that West Georgia Pole Bridge. They've gone now wrapped around up towards the shooting range hill on the north side. They have a nice spread on the west side of this circle.
Yes.
I like what Weibo has done on this match, a lot more certainly than Yangon Galacticos.
Yeah, Weibo, Alter Egos, I think, are in prime positions to have a deep run in this game, and 2 rosters, you know, Weibo obviously 5 points away. I mean, they could get that with placement points depending on how they play this. For Alter Egos, a good game here puts them closer and closer to the smash points. Loving where they're currently at. They can just hold their ground. They look strong. APG finally starts to get up towards the top. They rotated up through Rozhok. We have another shift, which surprisingly still has Yangon Galacticos in it on the southern portion, and they are relatively uncontested, so another deep run potential. But for that narrative against Alter Egos, they now have to go down south towards shooting range for Weibo. Still relatively strong opposite of Team Secret.
It's a non-zero possibility that Alpha Gaming crash into Yangon Galacticos' position here, and we get a fight for the smash point early in this game. We're still waiting for teams to start to drop here. We have already lost 1, but there's still 14 more to go. As of course, we do have to have a chicken dinner winner at the end of it all. Fireflux, they've been busted down to 3 right now. They're playing on the northeast side. Gonna stop a little bit short. Can't stay in this compound, and they will have to get on the road. Alpha Gaming, same story for them. A little bit more south though.
So 4th Thrives will pass just north of them. Ballot catches one off guard. Fireflux Solish, yeah, just pumping gas over there, unfortunately, instead of moving forward. And that will take, of course, they will take advantage of that situation. 4th Thrives, a team that played so well throughout the group stages, now find themselves knocking on the door, potentially reaching smash point. Another roster that needs a solid game here in map number 4. It's a possibility. And that's what makes this grand finals great. We've got 2 teams who are already on smash point, but we've got teams who are definitely looking to make their way. We get to game 6, I'm expecting maybe 4 or 5.
I mean, it could go that way. It depends what teams like Alter Ego, what 4th Thrives are able to do here. It feels like those are the 2 teams who are, well, they are most likely to join, right? Especially with 4th Thrives already getting 3 points. They're up to 95 now. It's still quite a way to go. Sure. I think it's safe to say it is still very much a way to go. Unless you're just going to do back-to-back chicken dinners a la Weibo, it's going to be very, very difficult to make that one work. With where 4th Thrives are right now out in the east, it's going to be pretty tricky for them to enact that.
So before Yangon Galacticos had Smile go as a solo across the bridge, this time around 3 go up. Team Secret gets close, but they leave Renat down low on the shoreline, potentially closing that in if they do need to rotate back depending on where the zone ends up shifting. But I get so nervous when I see those solos out in the open like that. I really hope Renat does not get caught off guard with a third party.
At the moment though, we're on board with Alpha Gaming. They are circling around the south side of Falcons, who are crunched in the middle of a bit of a standoff here that is sort of concluding towards their north, and I imagine the Falcons going to want to get stuck in. Alpha Gaming, they're rolling around these hills, they're not peeking, they're getting information. They can hold out here for a little bit longer. Yangon Galacticos in the meantime have got a player from Team Secret now playing to the ridge, to the west of their north point. See if they can do a little bit more from there. Fourth Rise still fighting on out, but they've lost IQ. Noki is down and exposed from the rest of these rosters. Alter Ego as well on the north side. Gotta make this rotate very, very tricky.
Got Fireflux in this area. Alter Egos. Noxium Red Force also moving in. If I'm T24, I'm trying to get Noki back up, take the hovercraft, and potentially disengage if he can, but they've got to go through multiple rosters, so it might not be a possibility. Phallic, the smoke's going to help a little bit. He'll get behind the car, and is Noki getting picked up? Well, is this nade going to connect? It gets close, and it will knock Noki once again, and that's going to leave one Fourth Thrives member to still try and fight for his life. Actually, none, as they're fully eliminated. That narrative we said they needed a good game for, potentially, but we still have Yangon Galacticos, APG, 4-man units, and they are deep into this game so far.
It's going to take at least 2 matches for Fourth Rise to get up into the Smash Point boundary, which means match 6, their only hope to maybe sneak in and get a chicken dinner there. But again, it's on back-to-back chicken dinners at this point. Eyes on the top 3 right now, rosters on the table. The circle went up northwest. That's going to help Weibo potentially, Yangon as well, bolstering their position on the northwest side. So we'll see if they're able to find it. With Alter Ego stuck in this scrap on the northeast side, I don't think they're getting out of this one unscathed, especially with Alva already down. Fireflux are right next to them. Falcons are to the south of that. Thundertalk and APG beyond them on the horizon there. I don't think Alter Ego are going to be able to push through this one in a healthy way to take that chicken dinner on this match that they would so desperately need to get up to that boundary.
Well, one thing we know about Alter Egos is they know how to fight. They know how to get scrappy, and that was represented in Game 6 on Miramar just yesterday. With all 4 still up, well, maybe 1 down at least currently. I think Alter Egos might have a chance, but you're right. It's not going to be easy. And with Koam knocking down Rosemary, John, I'm starting to believe in what you're saying. This fight on the eastern side has been taking place for quite some time now, and it's still going to be probably another minute or 2 minutes before it's concluded.
Falcons picking up a few points there, picking up their teammate too, as they take the fight and they draw it away. Fireflux will fall in their face, but Yangon Galacticos versus APG. This is the fight for the top side of the tables. Hang on a minute. On the ridgeline, Yangon Galacticos have position, but Alpha Gaming rock on up. They swing from the east side, and they're pushing in. First player to go down is Burner from Yangon Galacticos. Nades over in, and there's no equalizer.
Smile starts to back away, reposition. Top's going to try and get his teammate back up into the play. Smile, though, he's not going to relinquish that pressure. He's going to continue to push up. Doc does have a great angle if Smile overexposes himself. This is a critical fight. You have 2 Smash Point teams facing off against each other, and arguably, you could say whoever wins this, and especially if they win it in dominating fashion, most likely could, in fact, win this game and win the tournament.
Doc gets clocked from the sidelines there, and it's Regnum Kaya to try and take him down. The SLR finds the angle. Doc potentially Reservoir behind this tree. Regnum Kaya will come under fire from teams like Horror, from teams like Team Secret as well. And Zjol has an answer. Over towards Wild, he'll get that knock, and Regnum Kaya's sightlines will start to get diminished here. Playing that forward position towards that north side hold. It's going to work out well. And Regnum Kaya now playing only as 2. They only have 1 active sightline that allows the res to come through for APG, and Yangon Galacticos, they're not going to continue to lock horns with them.
No, not at all, and they also have a hardcover POI, which is wonderful for them. So when APG, if they do decide to push forward, APG is going to be in a tough spot. So the question is, will the third party from Regnum Kaya truly put APG into the dirt? Well, for Silas, he's worried about Noxium Red Force. You also have Weibo, who's going to be up ahead. We've lost Ragnar from Power, Ida fighting off against him from a distance. You also got DRX joining in as well. Fights galore taking place, and well, for every player that gets taken down, for every team that's eliminated, that puts other rosters closer to Smash Point or closer to a victory.
Power eating lead right now as Ida taking them to task, but they have had their fair share of punishment here, with Eren going down as just Emre left standing, trying to flex those big muscles that we've seen on him. The size of that lad, indomitable, but right now cowering behind this ridgeline with a blue zone at his back.
DRX, Haji from Power. DRX holding it down, not wanting to overcommit in this moment. By the way, the Alter Egos Horta fight still underway. That eastern side has yet to slow down. Nice shot from Yudman up ahead. That's on Smile. That is a critical down. And for YG, they have to make a big decision. Leave their hard cover and go get the pickup. They're going to commit for it.
The difficulty here is that Yangon Galacticos have to leave their hard cover. Al-Haji giving a good attempt at holding against DRX, but you've got to imagine his number is up. Will go down as they cut through him. DRX managed that one cleanly. Ida going down as well, leaves 9 teams remaining. Placement points coming in soon, which remember is important for Weibo. They need 5 points this match to find that one. Smile did get res for Yangon Galacticos, but they still have to move north, and APG have 4 players alive. Moving north is so tricky against where Regnum Kaya are playing, and it might get even harder with DRX trying to backfill.
There they go, and YG was firing a couple of shots. Sides is going to go up top and try and challenge the YG boys. This is going to get tense. Smile back on his feet. Nade cooking. It's thrown. Hyunbin manages to dodge. Another one thrown on Soez, but he dodges it as well. DRX continues to progress. Smile, he is dropped off for the 2nd time in just a short amount of time.
APG grinning ear to ear right now. The main threat from the south side taken down, but DRX may just sidle in to take their place, usurp that position on the south edge and play as 4 rather than the 3 that Yangon Galacticos were playing around with before. Hyunbin nade over the top play cloud, sidesteps another, a Smile finally bleeds out. He's staying alive on a sliver of HP, and Scissors cut along from the sidelines. Romeo steps into the fight. The nade finally takes him down, but Romeo now pressured out by the blue zone.
Romeo, like you said, he's got to move, he's got to go, and he's pretty much the last hope and chance for the opportunity of Yangon Galacticos to close this out in Smash Point, but Reefus from APG guns him down, and APG now staying alive. A 4-man unit have a real chance to close the tournament out.
4 players alive, but look at the open field that sits before them. There are so many angles up the top of the hill that can take shots out this way. It's a question of keeping your head down, finding those later game rotates. We're in stage 5 right now, which means there's a lot of variability. And again, Regnum Kaya get the knock over to Doc on the tree line. It's Reservoir, but do they have the smokes? Do they have the time to go for it? Because DRX are right behind them.
That's right, they're about to get pincered. DRX from the flank, Regnum Kaya up ahead, potentially Thunder Talk with the line of sight from the east. APG's job is not going to be easy, but let's face it, it's not easy to be a PMWC champion. So Alpha Gaming has to fight through. Weibo on the top. They're fighting, it's getting scrappy, but they're losing forces quickly. The question is, were they even able to get 5 points? I don't think so.
I don't know if they've managed to break that boundary. They are just short of it. Goodness me, they have fallen short of the mark. And again, it's going to be into the next match, unless APG win it, with 2 teams potentially in that smash zone. As we refocus, Doc gets res. He's now playing all the way on the west side. And the teams up the top of the hill gonna have to move.
Team Secret, Hora, they've got to go in. For Tien, he's gone. Thunder Talk's forces are now down to 2. That alleviates a little bit of pressure off of APG, but maybe even focuses more from Regnum Kaya up ahead, because now they don't have to worry as much about Thunder Talk. Doc, watch your back. Silas is taking you down.
It felt like he was slow on the trigger there for Silas. He spotted a player from Team Secret as well. What are you doing? Stood up there, my man. A broadside found, and Doc again has to get rezzed for APG. They have to commit forwards, but they are so open to these sidelines. And DRX could rule them out of this match. Reapus is low. The 2 players from APG committed onto the res onto Doc. DRX, it's go time.
This is the time for Regnum Kaya to up the pressure, to up the ante onto APG. This is a beautiful opportunity to take them out and continue this tournament. When DRX starts to push up, you have a real opportunity. A nice shot. Hyunbin will drop 1. That's going to be Reefus fully finished off. But Doc fights back. Doc gets a knock onto 1.
He needs to give something back to his team here. He's been picked up plenty. Now he needs to pick up the slack where his backline is starting to fall. They're playing as 3, and DRX have 3 players bearing down upon them, and he's down again. It's now all up to 2 players for APG to maybe take this one home. They'll get points, but I don't think they're getting the chicken dinner here. With top falling, it's only Ziol left.
Ziol, the last hope and chance. Will the tournament end now? Will the solo make a heroic run? Well, he's surrounded. DRX, Team Secret now starting to crash in where DRX was just fighting against APG. Regnum Karya now forced to watch their back against Hora. Sleepy falls. Regnum Karya controlling center zone. The last one from Hora, last alive, is going to be No Fear. Down to a solo. Regnum Karya starts to push onto him. Thunder Talk with 2. Zeus moving in. Jaiki up ahead. Wild taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Xyal still stands.
Only just, though. It seems like he is not long for this one. As soon as Team Secret start to extend control, or DRX on the flip side, he's gonna go down here. Regnum Karya can't quite peek onto him right now because of Team Secret, who are still moving, still trying to settle into their next position. Silas wants the angles, he wants these shots, but he can't quite find them just yet. Wild is down, and the last player from Hora is right behind them. No Fear, nade over the top. That's Yol going out, and APG laps on the south side, meaning we're going into Miramar.
Yes, we are, which is good news for APG, a great Miramar team. More on that in just a bit. For other rosters like DRX, Regnum Karya, a chance to elevate themselves up the standing, a chance to potentially make Smash Point, I would say, by game number 6. Their job not done just yet. I mentioned Hora earlier with No Fear, last alive. They've been fighting off against Regnum Karya, who now start to push up. And the question is now for Team Secret, can they take DRX out? The answer is undeniably yes, as only one more player remains, and now none. We're down to our top 3.
Team Secret losing their forward position, with Regnum Karya trying to hold this high ground. They have a lot of pressure onto the south side. They've had it for a long, long time. They've been taking shots at that hillside for the last 7 minutes, and they have been finding points, but, well, actually they've been finding knocks, but not that many points to convert. They've been snuck away from the other teams playing on that hillside. But now, 3 players alive for Regnum Karya. They need to move south and potentially down the hill. Thunder Talk with 2 playing on the east side of this circle. They've got a couple of sporadic pieces of cover that sit before them. I think the hardest time here is Team Secret with 2. They have to make a mad dash.
The thing about Team Secret, they've had some deep runs today as it stands, but they have yet to be able to finally get over the hump, finally close out a game. Is this their opportunity? Well, I love the line of sight from sitting up from a distance. Thunder Talk, most likely going to mow down Xeris, but you do have Regnum Karya starting to get active, starting to move just a little bit, and they're pushing where Thunder Talk is currently at, and they have the high ground.
They've moved into this one. They know that Team Secret unlikely to push super far into this and backfill them on the high ground. Thunder Talk would cut across them, which means that they do have the freedom to move laterally on this. Unfortunately, Team Secret up on these rocks do have an angle or 2 onto this high ground, so they may have just pushed themselves into a little bit of a corner here. However, they don't have to take this fight. They can allow Team Secret to take care of Thunder Talk and try and put pressure on the north side.
Wanting to make the first move. A lot of utility's been thrown, mind you, especially from Thunder Talk's perspective. I don't know how many they still have in the backpack, but they're gonna have to face up. Sitting, overexposed a little bit. Xeris takes the shot, sitting back behind the tree, goes for the transition, he's down.
Gets sat behind the tree there. The spray down on the cross is good, and that should be a flush nice and quickly. Team Secret under pressure, and Silas able to rain down the hill, and maybe they can start to rack up a few elim points for this power position that they've been playing for the longest time.
Got Team Secret, Thunder Talk now running on fumes. Jing so weak, Wild just needs to hit 1 bullet. Well, now a little couple more, but either way, you got to favor Regnum Karya. Loxy starts to push up. Frankie is going to drop Xeris as well. Now it's just up to 1 member from Thunder Talk. It's seeing from a distance. Only a tree to hide behind, and it's not enough. Regnum Karya control the pacing of the game, eliminate some heavy hitters, and they put themselves closer to Smash Point.
Weibo falls short of the mark of the Smash boundary in that match. I think that's one of the biggest storylines here, other than, of course, no finish of the tournament.
That's right.
But Weibo not making that 128 is huge. They needed 5 points. They got 2, maybe 3, I think, with the placements that they were able to earn. That is not going to be enough. So they can only get a Smash victory in match number 6.
That's right.
Moving into match number 5, only 2 teams can win it before we would end our tournament anyway. However, it could upset the point standings. If a team is able to sneak in match number 5 into that boundary, things can get messy over towards the top.
Well, there it is. Map number 4 is done. The tournament will continue, and coming up next is going to be Miramar. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, map 5 coming your way.
Picture impossible. Lenovo Legion.
Anticipated addition to the Mummy series outfits is here. Paired with the new Ice Tomb glider, the Polar Spectrophage set is just what you need to freeze your enemies. Or send them ablaze with the Inferno Feed set's new upgradable Chain Inferno Uzi. All the Mummy outfits are back. Get them all. Join now and collect the whole series to turn all eyes on the battleground. Event period, July 10th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025.
Well, that's Erangel all done and dusted. Regnum carry here towards the very end, looking strong, but for all of these teams here, they are just fighting for a little bit more prize pool because this game went off the rails. We saw those northern shifts. Joining me, we have Seven, Neptura, as well as Maxman to talk about this. Neptura, a lot of these teams that are now in the Smash Zone or close to, way up the north, trying to get something done. They don't enter the Smash Zone. Oh, I'm going crazy.
Heartache. It really is heartache coming in here. They tried so hard and got so far, but so far it doesn't really matter because they don't come into that smash point, right? Just a couple of points away, and they tried so hard. I already said that, but they did try so hard. They got a lot of points coming in there. They tried to get a lot of those teams waiting for the right time, trying to recreate what happened in the third game of the day, but it just didn't work out. That zone was just not going to be going their way, and we go over the match ranking. We see 7 elimination points coming in for Regnum, stealing a lot of those points away from other teams.
For Weibo, just way too passive. You can't play the same way that you were able to play it in the past. You're going to have to make sure you attack those teams, especially if you're trying to get there within the Smash Zone. It's not going to be enough, and I mean, it wasn't even enough to get into the first page. I do got to give some props, though, to Alpha Gaming. Somehow they were able to find a way into those circles. I will get a chance to talk about them a little bit later, but yeah, for Weibo, more aggression, Max.
They had literally the perfect setup because Alpha Gaming were fighting against Jangon Galacticos. That was like the perfect setup for them to enter the Smash Zone, and those two main teams you're going up against not being able to actually convert that chicken dinner was so important. Unfortunately, not quite able to get as many eliminations as you just said, Seth.
Yeah, Yangon gone, but then, of course, Alpha in those kinds of dips. Neptura it's as if they were there too early, right? With a team eventually coming from the high ground, as well as Team Secret eventually coming in from the west. It's not the easiest place to survive there at all.
It's really not. I never loved that position coming in for them. I understood why they did it. We were discussing it backstage, weren't we? Like, there's a lot of dips. You can just hold for a while, just wait for other teams to do something. But for me, I was like, it's too center in that zone because it's way too open. All those teams on that hillside can look down on you. You had Yangon in front of you as well. I think it was Romeo in the compound there as well with a different angle. So for me, it was a very, very risky play.
Mr. Seven.
I'm just going to be looking at some of these teams. I mean, top damage dealers, Arctic Eagle. That's a team that's currently trying to fight for the top 4. I thought with 4 tribes going out early on, I thought maybe they were going to try to make a push there. Just sadly, it doesn't end up going their way. And with Regnum, they're also trying to get in there. They're trying to get into the money. And with that performance, it definitely pushes them closer.
I mean, they were in 6th position at the start of the day, 7, and they've been slipping, not really able to get any results in the first 3 matches of the day. This chicken dinner, just like we saw at the very start of the day, can bring you a lot of money, possibly. So I think that is definitely going to be the case. I'm very excited to see where they are in the rankings. They might be in the top 5 because that was actually a big 17-point match.
Yeah, you're already talking about those huge potential leaps that do come along. The fact that we started with a leap of from 50k to 120k, so there's still so much to play for these teams as we continue things on. And now moving into Miramar as well, it does make me wonder because, Seven, you were questioning if Alpha Gaming doesn't get it done here and then going on to Miramar, this might be Yangon territory for sure.
I mean, for Alpha Gaming, they've been able to get a 3rd place. They've been able to get a 2nd place. So the performance is there. They just haven't gotten the win.
Yeah.
You know who has gotten a win? YG, Yangon Galacticos. That's what I want to see out of them, but they're continuing to just mess up their gameplay style. Yeah. I'm not enjoying what I'm seeing out of them. This team used to play edge, but they keep going center of the circle for some reason. Yangon, go back to what was working the past 2 days. Stop worrying so much about center of the circle. That was one of your greatest advantages.
One thing about Smash 4 is that teams will try and change their playstyle to try and hopefully convert a win, but they've converted wins before, Seven. You said it early on Miramar by playing edge. It was successful in the past, and here they're trying to play center, as we saw Niptra here. Unfortunately for Yangon Galacticos, they might be throwing this tournament at the very last hurdle. They need to go back to playing edge, what was successful for them in the past.
Yeah, but the other thing is, as well, as while they struggle to get those wins, we saw on that board there, you actually had APG with an average of 8 elims on Miramar. Yeah. So purely by points, APG could take the win while Yangon are struggling.
Right, well, we have everybody's second favorite segment. It's Seven winning with 7. No, not you.
That's right. That's right. There's one thing that's been really pissing me off today, and that is none other than just Doc being so far away from his squad and just causing his team to just make mistakes, especially in this scenario. I love the way that APG was winning. I love the positioning that they were able to get, but every single time that Doc kept getting knocked, it kept forcing Top to go pick him up, Refits to go pick him up, and that was ultimately what broke the camel's back. As soon as Top decided to back up and go pick up Doc, guess what? The next team was moving up, and he gave the disadvantage to them. If they would have just been able to manage themselves, stay more compact like they have done in the past 2 days, I think we would have had a new champion by now.
Maybe it is tough stuff here. Let's take a look at those overalls and see what's going on so far, because we still have only 2 teams in the Smash Zone. Weibo was just 2 points away, Max, from joining.
Oh, if they win their fight versus Horror Esports, they'd be in the Smash Zone. They could try and convert the win now, despite being so far behind at the start of the day. Weibo, I think they're going to look back on this game and just that is the worst possible time for them to possibly miss out on the Smash Zone. But Alpha Gaming, Yangon Galacticos still going up there. Currently a 10-point difference, so even if we don't end on a Smash, any of those 2 top teams could be the ones to take the trophy.
The other thing as well is you've got a lot of other teams actually catching up to them now. Regnum with 100, Alter Ego with 96, DRX with 96, 4Thrives with 95. I mean, all of a sudden, not only are they no longer, or they are close to that Smash point, they don't get it, but they've now got 4 other teams nipping at their heels.
Imagine if someone like Regnum Carrier then suddenly joins the Smash Zone as well. I would lose my mind, which would be kind of crazy stuff. But of course, you guys at home can get involved in everything that's going on as well, because the Airdrop Carnival, you've only got 1 day left, I believe, on it overall. You can go log in and summon a surprise airdrop, collect 225 airdrop vouchers for your chance to win official merch, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. So make sure you get all that going on here, as we are now ready for our half-time as a whole, because we're heading over to Barney and Veracity, who are on the stage before our next game.
Kadia Esports Arena. Are we ready for some more PUBG Mobile? That's what I like to hear now, Barney. Let me tell you now, Weibo Gaming, they can smell it. They can smell it in the air. They can smell the chicken dinners getting ready to cook.
Yes, they can, but they're only a few points off that threshold of getting into Smash points, so unfortunately it won't happen in this game. But we still have 2 teams currently in the Smash zone, so it could all end right here, right now, Veracity.
I'll tell you what I've been loving, though. The Weibo Gaming fans are here in full force. They've been showing their support. And just before we went live, I saw Regnum Karia giving us a little bit of energy as well. I'm loving this. I'm loving the energy.
They did indeed. Right, we'll test it a little bit. Weibo Gaming, how you feeling?
No. I think you guys can do better than that. Weibo Gaming, are you here?
Okay, things are starting to heat up here. We are about to go into our Miramar matches. Like we've already said, it could end right here, right now, or we could go the distance. It's going to get spicy. So make sure you stay locked in and get comfortable because we are heading in to Miramar. Woo!
Thank you very much, Barney and Veracity, hyping up the Weibo fans because they need a little bit of a pick-me-up after that last match. That fight on the north side did not go their way, Bo, and they are going to not quite make it to that Smash boundary to join Alpha Gaming and Yangon Galacticos with a chance to take it all here and to take it all now.
There it is, and now things start to get scary for the Yangon Galacticos roster, which they don't look too scared as they're waving to the camera. They actually look quite happy and content where they're currently at. But for APG, this is a real opportunity for them to take this tournament. They are phenomenal when it comes to Miramar. We looked at the stats just before heading into this game, and, well, they were the #1 team, averaging the most eliminations, but also placings as well. I think it could end here, but you did bring up a good potential narrative for the team of Weibo before we went live. Let's discuss it.
So, I'm thinking, do Weibo go in and try and hot drop one of these 2 teams?
So 2 teams being Yangon
Galacticos and Alpha Gaming.
Okay.
Do they want to try and sit on a single player, target, focus just one of those players? They get 1 point towards it. I say hot drop, maybe not in the sense of all going for a 4v4 fight.
Sure.
I feel like it may not be a terrible play
Right.
to just drop on one single player from either Alpha Gaming or Yangon Galacticos, reduce their chances of winning, get 1 point closer towards that match point boundary.
Sure.
I think it might be an option. I think it's fairly unlikely. I think it's more likely that we see them just try and play by the book,
Right.
play for the later game. But it's not out of the question, and so I'll be looking out for that. At the moment, though, it doesn't look like we're going to see that coming on through because both Yangon Galacticos and APG are out early.
That's interesting. Yangon Galacticos typically go up towards the El Pozo side of things up north. This time they're going south, maybe to throw off the scent of Hora and Falcons, who they have typically been trying to avoid. Remember, everybody, Yangon Galacticos, when it comes to Miramar, they are a team that plays in blue for the longest time. You typically do not see them within the zone until stage 3. That's when they start to move up. Granted, if the zone pops on them right now, it could be great. If we get an island finish, I'm ecstatic. I want chaos, especially in our potential final map. But we won't get that. We'll get a standard zone, which means, once again, the narrative for Yangon Galacticos most likely going to stay on the outskirts until about stage 3 when they start to move into the zone. Now, for the other rosters, APG, they are a bit split. Zeal does get a vehicle. He's going to go ahead and join top and go up ahead. But Seven did bring up a good narrative, man. Doc, the Dockening, right? Where is Doc always going, leaving his roster? He needs to stay put. And the same thing could be said for Mernat. The same thing could be said for Sleepy on Yangon Galacticos, because you go back to the previous Erangels, and they were just splitting off left and right. Solos do not win championships.
Yeah, but Doc's got 10 AD limbs, so, you know.
Sure.
Kind of cool, right?
It's a cool stat. You know what's cooler? $500,000 in a championship win.
I think you might be right, actually. I'll run the numbers and get back to you. But either way, we are on board with Hora right now, who did beat Weibo in that fight on the northern side in the last match, preventing them from potentially being able to convert a Smash victory here in match number 17 of our final set here in Riyadh. And they will not be happy if they have to come into contact with them once more. All the way towards Biodemard. On the south side here, Yangon Galacticos getting on looting. Nice and happy for themselves. They'll be chilled. I'm looking at where they could potentially be rotating through. You imagine that they're going to roll up potentially towards Montenuevo, coming through around Power Grid, potentially San Martin. There's always the option to go further north on this one, but I think it's fairly unlikely that they go the other direction and come into contact with APG, because that's really what I'm sort of looking out for here. Are those two teams going to come into contact with one another at some point during this match?
Yeah, Regnum Karya, big win on Erangel, puts them exactly at 100 points for map number 5. Game number 6, smash point opportunity, maybe. 28 points, though, would be one of the biggest games we have seen to date throughout the entirety of our tournament. So highly unlikely, but for Regnum Karya, I think they've got to commit, I really do. But there is value, and there is an argument that just staying in top 5, that's a lot of money, right? And that's the question that always has to be answered for the rosters when it comes to a smash point rule set is it worth committing to try and silence a team to continue to tournament forward? For example, challenge Yangon Galacticos, challenge Alpha Gaming to continue to tournament. But you do that and you have the chance of potentially dropping half your roster. Doing that means another team who is a 4-stack has a chance to then pass you up, and you potentially lose out on thousands and thousands of dollars. So you've got to weigh the pros and cons, and you have to question, is it worth it truly to challenge the top rosters, or is it more worth it just to play your game and maintain your positioning and not necessarily go for gold?
I mean, that is the question, right? You can't really fault a team for thinking either way. I feel like if you're here to win the tournament, if you ignore the money, the plays are a little bit different.
Sure.
And I think that once you add in the profitability, the longevity of a team, of an organization investing in you as a team, it can start to change how you're thinking about this one. I know a lot of coaches will come out and say, no, we're just trying to play the game. We're not worried about the prize money. They're worried about the prize money. Like, they're worried about the prize money. What they're doing there is lying. And they will be much more focused on getting towards those spots, climbing that ladder, more so potentially than going for that top spot when it's a really outside chance.
So Alter Egos, you can talk about an outside chance even further down the standings than Regnum Karya. Huge pop-up game needed for them, but they want a sliver of a chance to take Smash Point. Because the reality is they're just a little bit too far away in the points category to catch up to first place currently, which is Yangon Galacticos, who still have a valuable lead in the point standings, even if none of our Smash Point teams gets a win. Let's say we go to Game 6, nobody gets a win. Yangon Galacticos being in first place still wins PMWC 2025. But for Alpha Gaming, they are still on their heels. And again, my favorite team to close the tournament out in map number 5. But they're going to have to fight tooth and nail into the zone. And well, Fourth Thrive's going to be just above them. Alter Egos to the right. And you also got to think, Yangon Galacticos, Weibo are also going to be coming behind you. So you've got some competition all around you.
In terms of teams that can steal this first place spot, on these tables right now, I think from Alter Ego downwards, there's no chance ever that they are going to be able to make this one.
Fair.
As it stands, Regnum Karya, to be able to win via Smash, would have to get 28 points in this match, which is an 18 Elim chicken dinner.
The biggest game we've seen.
Biggest game we've seen so far in this tournament, so even they are an outside chance. Here. So it is really a three-part story in this final set of matches. These final goes at the desert, and we are with only 2 out ahead by a leg. For Gaming, they already rotated in. They're a little bit behind Fourth Thrives, a little bit behind Regnum Karya with Alter Ego parallel to them. DRX moving up past Impala, the team to actually do a lot of damage to APG and to Yangon Galacticos in that last game to deny a Smash victory in the final Erangel of the day.
DRX traveling across the coastline. They stay on the outskirts of the zone. That's going to be great for them because they can go all the way up towards Truckstop if they decide to go north. Hora Falcons starting to get relatively close to each other. That's a narrative we've had throughout the entirety of this tournament. Falcons, Hora, and typically Yangon Galacticos, who normally are up in the north side with them, but again, they choose to avoid all of that nonsense and drop down south. Of course, playing in the blue zone as they typically do. A couple of shots are fired off, but overall everybody is going to be okay. Falcons Horta still have their 4 members up. But as they do start to condense, they get closer to Ida, who is going to be in that vicinity as well. The north side not as congested as the center, obviously, or even the southern portion, because the southern portion is about to get pretty active, but it still is something to watch. APG getting some damage taken onto them because up ahead is 4th Rise.
They're taking shots out their way. Zyol, though, he's going to be chilled out a little bit over here. Just going to pop that adrenaline. And he's going to turn around. Not really want to get stuck in too much to this one. They're in this circle. They've got plenty more options to go for. Yangon Galacticos are on the road as well. They have just started their rotation from Valle de Mar. They went a little bit slowly past Minas del Valle on that south edge, and now they are moving on the south coast here, potentially towards Weibo.
Right on, yeah. That brings that not hot drop narrative we were talking about, but still for Weibo, I think there is value in challenging YG. We have a shift over to the right-hand side. That means Falcons, Ida, Horta, Noxium Red Force, DRX have to drop down, and that makes the job a little bit harder for APG, who now have to go into at least a culmination of 3 rosters.
Ooh, Order right next to Smile here. Order, of course, one of the most decorated players in PUBG Mobile. 2 global titles under his belt. Wants to try and make it a 3rd here. Unfortunately, he is the outside chance with the rest of Weibo, so we'll see if they can pick up their feet. They don't come into contact with Smile. They don't want to stop off and go for the fight. Getting ahead of this one, I think, is the... I mean, it definitely is the right call here for Weibo. Getting into the circle as teams collapse.
Ooh, APG's dropping south. They didn't want to head straight into the zone. They didn't want to challenge E-Arena, Power, Fireflux, Regnum Karya, Falcons, Thunder Talk, who are all in that vicinity. They drop down, and we might see a back-to-back map repeat of YG versus APG. Weibo also there, 2 points away. Surely they reach the threshold this game. I would be shocked if they don't, but you've got 3, literally our top 3 about to converge in the same location.
On the south side of the circle to the east of Los Leones. Weibo get the mountains first, and that may be the difference maker. We get a replay of the first Elim in this game. Oh no, maybe it was a later one on actually, because that was clocked over towards Fireflux. So a scrap between Ida and Ora on the northern side.
Nuts, dude.
Weibo continues, so they don't stop off at the cliffs to try and hold the teams behind them.
Well, I don't know. He starts to back up. I think they are going to decide to park the bus and potentially gatekeep Yangon Galacticos. APG not far behind. They go a little bit deeper in towards Alter Egos. Power fighting for center control. They've got Fireflux, Falcons, and Regnum Karya all around them. But for Power, they have a great spot where they currently are at. Even if they do get dropped down, I don't expect anybody to crash in on them. So most likely they're going to be just fine. Still, my eyes on Yangon Galacticos now starting to get to the southern portion of Weibo, where they're currently at. For APG, they veer off to the left-hand side. They're going in where E-Arena is currently at.
They have diverged from Yangon Galacticos' rotation. The east side of Los Leones a little bit too treacherous for them to fully commit. They're still at the blue zone, stage 2, so it's okay for now. Yangon Galacticos, they are behind Weibo still, who've committed down to a compound that is surrounded by hillsides. I'm not sure about this one from Weibo. It's right on the edge. You imagine that they're trying to get further up towards the Impala Hills in this scenario, but I feel like holding in this location is certainly an interesting choice.
He, from Weibo, has been kind of the tip of the spear. He's been stopping right before Yangon Galacticos, and where he currently stands, if he hops out, he might be able to get some shots. Bernatz has, in fact, hopped out, potentially firing on Order, firing on He, who now goes up. We have a northern shift. Weibo will continue forward. DRX most likely to crash into them on their rotate, since they're getting a little bit active themselves. APG still keeping their distance from E-Arena. And for YG, well, now getting pincered in between Weibo and potentially Alter Egos to the left.
Weibo leading the charge. Yangon right behind them. Murnat hopping out, trying to take those shots. E-Arena losing another there on the southwest side. Now the rest of them close up. Fairly central, well, comparatively to a lot of teams here, fairly central on this circle. Weibo get a longhouse on the south side of it. And the Falcons actually have a lot of control over the road that splits the center of this circle.
Oh yeah, they can play spoiler without question. Team Falcons roster that could jump up potentially to top 5 off these next 2 maps if we continue to tournaments. E-Arena stuck in a bowl, and that's not good for them. already have lost a player. The question is, will they lose more? Falcons in a very familiar spot. Remember, Falcons was in this very house trying to rotate out before they got gate-kept by Yangon Galacticos, as well as a couple of other rosters just the previous day.
If Regnum Kaya want to make magic happen, they do need to start to rack up these points. They've got the first, so they're out of the gates, and they've got APG to guard on the western side. And what better team to do it against, right? Against a team that could potentially smash if you're hoping to get a match 6 smash here. For Regnum Kaya, this is how you do it. Again, I talked about Order before being one of the most decorated players in PUBG Mobile Esports. Silas, another representative of that accolade. He has got multiple global titles under his belt. He's got that PMGO title. He's got that PMGC title. And he wants the 3-peat, but they are a real underdog here. I talk about Weibo in this scenario as an outside chance. Regnum Kaya, they're not even in the same town right now. They're so far outside.
And they are outside, actually, ironically, of APG's current positioning, and they do split. They've got a 2-2 split. Regnum Kaya could take a distinct advantage of this because they've got 4 players who are split themselves. However, they can move in onto top and Zeal if they decide to. Regnum Kaya, a team that was putting the pressure on APG once we lost Yangon Galacticos in the previous map on Erangel. Regnum Kaya ended that. And in fact, they're getting dangerously close to each other. For APG, they've been hovering around rosters, but they've stayed relatively quiet up until now.
Oh, Doc with the nades. We know how dangerous he is with those, but we know how dangerous he is to himself as well. If he gets overexposed, he's in a 1v2 right now. Sure, he's got top just over the way, but it looks like he's rotating back up towards the north. More nades being cooked. And Doc over the top with the overarm. Again, Silas may be in danger. Takes half his health bar, but not more than that. Top still negotiating the terrain around him and will bolster this position on the south point for APG.
Oh, but they might get pincered. Regnum Kaya swinging wildly to the left-hand side with Wild and Co. They need to watch out for those off angles, and there's Wild on your very screen with Loxy. Loxy loves the off angles, and they're going to continue to try and pressure around to put APG into this vice grip. They've got to be very careful here. And let's not forget, Reefus has totally separated from his roster. He's all the way up north, and in fact, I believe he's down. So for APG, the troubles will continue. I'm starting to get worried.
This is looking dangerous. Scarface from Fireflux as well. Now with a chance to take Ziol out here. Close range with the auto shotty. The SK-12, no match for Ziol with the pump action. Takes Scarface down at a distance. Matcap can't do anything about it. But Top falls in the meantime. And he's going to go down to Wild from Regnum Kaya.
It's 2 down. Ziol, you got to stay up here. Regnum Kaya once again looking to silence the team of APG in back-to-back games. They're so close to doing it, and Toshbik is pushing up. Doc by himself, forced to hold his ground, retreats to the hard cover. That's all he can do.
That sentence seems to ring in my ears. Doc by himself. And he is now facing against Toshbik on this ridgeline. Doesn't quite have the backup close enough, and the damage is starting to pour on through. 3 players survive for Regnum Kaya. The Molotov to slow down a retreat. Doc is trapped up on this building. Ziol marching forwards to get the assist here, but Matcap has other ideas. More damage sent over towards Toshbik, and APG still going to be fighting for this one.
Ziol, I think's in trouble though. Matcap cooking the nade. Go ahead and throw it. Pull out your weapon and take the shot. He's right in front of you, right for the picking. But as he does pull the weapon out, Ziol backs him up with the damage. He has no choice but to continue to push up. Doc has finally joined into the mix, and they've left the hard cover because of the blue zone. Regnum Kaya, I don't think know where Alpha Gaming has gone as of yet. But again, the story on Matcap up ahead for Fireflux.
Oh, it's starting to get dicey for Alpha Gaming. And they are down to 2. They're going to push up towards Matcap for solo, and Fireflux, whose ridgeline is getting suppressed by power across the way. And Ziol's down as well, leaving a solo for Alpha Gaming. Now, I'm going to reframe this one over towards Yangon Galacticos because Alpha are out of the running. They went for a wide sweep out the east side of Impala. They rotated up. Then it was a hard west shift on the circle in the previous circle. It's been that long that Alpha Gaming have been fighting. They're now up on the north side, near to Nongshim Red Force, near to Team Secret on the east edge, and they're going to crash down south towards Team Secret.
They've got to. This is a perfect opportunity. If they can win this fight in sensational fashion, it would put them in such a distinct advantage, and it is looking good, at least off the rip. Cloud's going to drop one. Smile's going to get the finish on the drop player. You've got a couple more to deal with up ahead. If Yangon Galacticos could win this spot, they can gatekeep Horda, they can gatekeep DRX, but it is imperative they do not lose a single player.
Trang moves moves back. Team Secret giving ground again in the face of Yangon Galacticos. A nade as they fade away, but they will not find the knock, and Trang goes down. Now they're looking for Frankie. Team Secret on 2 players standing, trying to keep things going, but the nades pour on in, and Yangon Galacticos lose 2. They have to slow down, but Team Secret will not be able to take this fight. In the meantime, though, DRX looking to put pressure on.
Here they come. DRX, Hora might be in hot pursuit as well. That's something to keep our eyes on. But for the reset, well, Yangon Galacticos go for it. Jaiki takes a little bit of damage. That gives enough time to get the members from Yangon Galacticos potentially up, but they're still 2 down, and they don't have the chance just yet. And slowly but surely, Team Secret starts to get it. A nade comes out. Frankie on the outskirts. That's a dangerous off angle, and as he backs away, he wants to at least maintain his tournament life. A chance is still here, but again, you brought up DRX. They're just on the outskirts.
And Falcons are taking shots over this way as well. Stabilization now for Yangon Galacticos. All 4 players are there, and Team Secret are starting to fold back. Have to fall away to the wayside as the circle moves away from them.
Frankie's been dropped. Romeo manages to get the pickup. Team Secret, it was a wonderful fight, but now they are left down to just 1 solo. We take a look once again at Yangon Galacticos, this time forced to focus on the remaining members, not only from Team Secret, but also DRX, and they do have a chance, if they want to go north, potentially to third party, this Thunder Talk Noxium Red Force fight to control the entirety of the north-hand side. That might be an option, and we got Romeo. He's in a vehicle, and he might be moving.
I've just seen on the Elim feed Order getting knocked there, and Weibo, remember, needs 2 points. They only need 2 points. 2 placements would do it, 2 Elims would do it, 1 placement, 1 Elim would do it. Those are the only 3 ways that you can organize those point scoring systems. But the fact remains that they will have to move north on this one. They will have to move from under the sightlines of Falcons, who are dead center on this circle. They've got so much control.
Yangon Galacticos staying alive. It got a bit hairy. The nades were almost their undoing. Luckily for them, Team Secret could not collapse in time to get the finishes, and therefore, Yangon Galacticos, the dream still alive on Smash Point. The chance to close this tournament out on map number 5 still exists. And with DRX backing away, they leave the solo from Team Secret in Trang, and they do in fact go up north where Noxium Red Force is currently standing.
Gonna try and sideline over. Weibo going for a crash as well. Remember, 2 points. 2 points is all they need. And into power they go. 2 players close by and out into the ground floor fight. Alhaji first to face. Easy on the top floor. They're gonna try and play up and down the stairs, establish a crossfire, and it's good for 1. Easy is able to close the jaws on the first pickup, but Weibo still have 3 more players going.
You also have Yangon Galacticos crashing in on Noxium Red Force. 2 critical fights taking place between 2 critical teams. SakeCloud is going to manage to take down Duck. You also have Easy falling. Weibo manages to get 1 elimination plus the finish, but they're still 1 point away. 2 big fights. Who's going to come out ahead?
Weibo find that 2nd point on a flush, and they're into the smash zone now. It doesn't really matter what they do for the rest of it, as we want to head over towards Yangon Galacticos. There are 3 players on the north, with Noxium Red Force fighting on the inside, and Falcons are flexing out to the north to third party this.
That's right. Yangon Galacticos need to stay up. They unfortunately lost a player. Noxium Red Force manages to hold their ground against the roster who's been on Smash Point for the longest time. As you also said, Falcons start to roll up. An identical situation they were in against Team Secret and DRX just moments before. But Noxium Red Force, they're out for blood. They want to feast, and Yangon Galacticos might be the mill.
Trying to jump off that plate. Murnat holding first. Close to Beanie. The nades don't seem to be coming through. You've got to wonder how many are left in the back pocket. The next circle comes in, and this fight needs to conclude because of it. Falcons happy about the shift. Yangon Galacticos less so. They need this fight to end. They need to end it fairly quickly too.
Yes, they do. And then you have to deal with Falcons right after that. So the task is not going to be easy. SakeCloud falls out of nowhere. Ida and Aaron, the solo, managed to hit a shot from I don't know how many meters away. And this only helps Noxium Red Force as they start to push up. Murnat will also fall. And now it's up to a solo unless they can get back up to a duo, which they manage to finally do.
SakeCloud back to his feet, looking to try and heal. Nades in hand now, 5 for Romeo. A lot of ordnance to put down here, and they need to expend it now. Doesn't connect a lot there. Romeo dashes forward, the DBS in hand. Binny chases him down and catches his heel as it tries to go through. A 1-for-1 trade, but SakeCloud has 2 more to deal with, and it will not be a smash here in match number 5. You can see the Weibo fans are happy about that one.
That's right, Weibo has a chance to win PMWC 2025. They put themselves in a winning spot. The question is, can they close it out? It's going to be a 3-horse race going into map number 60, guaranteed final map of PMWC 2025. But now we focus our attention on the remaining players. Let's not forget, points still matter. And for Weibo, yes, they're on Smash Point, but they also have a chance to go up into second place, pass up APG, and potentially even get close enough to take down YG in game number 6 in the points category.
There are still technically enough points left in the lobby for Regnum Kaya to join them as well.
That's
towards the top side, but that's not really very likely at all, especially with Nongshim going down here. I think if these 3 points don't go to Regnum Kaya, then it's impossible for them to ladder up and get into that Smash Point boundary. And of course, it's very, very likely that that's not going to be the case, with Falcons having a chokehold on this circle in a way that we haven't seen from them at all, actually, in this tournament. It's really been a bit of a disappointment from the Falcons roster, but maybe they can go out with a bang.
Let's find out. All by himself. We've seen him clutch up many times, but Kix is going to be watching from a distance from DRX. All eyes on Regnum Kaya, really, as far as I'm concerned. Again, the roster who might be able to get to that point threshold, it's not going to be easy, maybe not even mathematically possible, but they've got to give it a good effort. They crash in on Ida Aaron, a guy that dismantled YG from a distance. This time now he has to stand his ground in a shed against Loxy. Great nade to take him down half health, but still, Wild has the angle. You can't jump, you can't really move. You just pray and hope the utility works, and it will on Loxy.
That is nasty business from Aaron, and another one over the top. The fire's not going to bother him, and that's a flush. Regnum Kaya getting dismantled. The solo in the shack. Aaron, the young firecracker on the roster. His rookie season last year, he had an impact.
He can do this.
He wants to have a little bit more here against Regnum Kaya. Tries to thread through the vehicle on the hop in, hop out sidestep, but is eventually taken down. Meanwhile, Weibo with a chance.
There it is. Weibo has a chance, but 4 Thrives are looking to take it away. They're fighting hard. They are fighting tooth and nail. IQ gets a finish onto 1. Weibo's numbers will start to dwindle away. Now 2 players, but Sook says, I'm not done just yet. He'll get a cleanup on 1. Naki will also drop order, but for Weibo, they stand with a solo, and 4 Thrives are out.
Rez onto 33Z, onto order as well. It will be able to come through. Alva is close by to them, so could be a little bit dangerous. Oh, there's a nade. Doesn't quite connect, so they're going to know there's a player close by. This should be a Falcons chicken dinner.
Absolutely.
If they don't win it, Falcons back.
Well, Falcons still very close, potentially breaking up in the top 5. That is a narrative. Alva, great shots. Hold up a second. Alter Egos becoming a narrative once again. Alva has been the clutch master oftentimes, and well, now he has a chance to do just that. I mean, he is working these angles masterfully. And for order up ahead, question is, can he take down Alva? I don't know. It's going to be, of course, solo versus solo. Winner stays alive, a chance to get more placement points, and Alva is moving, but not for long. Orta gets it, a couple of shots in celebration. Weibo, no, they are going into game 6 with the chance.
They've got 7 elims, 4th place. They may have actually overtaken Alpha Gaming, depending on how many placement points they're able to earn here. So 2nd place is up for grabs, a nice little pay bump for them if they can find it. Of course, coming up into 2nd place from 3rd place goes from 150 grand to $250,000. That is 100,000.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, 1 elim will tie Alpha Gaming. Just 1. If they can get it, my oh my, is it going to be on a Regnum Kaya member, or maybe even on Kix up ahead from order? He's got options, but he's got to pick and choose properly for Regnum Kaya. If he chooses to go into Toshpik, well, Wild might be able to help. Actually, no, I take that back. Wild is fully focused on Falcons up ahead, so Toshpik is going to be the one to potentially ruin the chances from Weibo to catch up to APG.
For my money, the smartest play Order can make is staying quiet here. Not getting engaged. DRX are, I believe, just about in this circle. I think it is Shaq. I thought he might have been outside of the circle here on the south side, but he's going to be right up and against it. Falcons know where he is. Order should know where he is. he's going to be locked into this one, especially with the circle shifting out as it does. DRX is going to have to go out first. But Order hops back into the vehicle. He's repositioning. He wants to get a little bit of a different angle on this one as Falcons start to extend their influence over this circle.
Yes, they do. But one of the things that's done Falcons in previous games is getting overly aggressive. This time, I think it is going to be the off angles from the solo. Now, kicks dropping here would be wonderful for Falcons. They get him off of that side angle, and they can focus on everybody up just to the north-hand side. But I do not want to discredit the power of where Order is currently at. He truly could be instrumental once he finally does get active, especially when all these fights end up taking place. I don't know, maybe he can steal this game. It would be insanity, but it is a possibility.
He's not going to have to move before DRX have to move, before the last player from DRX has to step out into the open and get lit up by the Falcons. Well, everybody, really, because you can see Narvalo's just waiting. Okay, deny to the blue zone as well. This is a placement point for Weibo. That does the same thing.
Oh.
They ladder up into third. That's another point.
That Narvalo hit the shot needed to take him down before Blue did, but Blue was successful. Well, they know where Order's at. Again, Toshpik on that off angle, I just don't think they're ready for it. Shots are going to come through. Ralph is going to fire upon him. Toshpik is going to renegotiate his position. Wild will maintain his ground. Falcons start to move up. This is their game to take. Toshpik will fall. Wild behind the vehicle. If a good nade is thrown, it might just drop him or at least get rid of the vehicle. Wild's gone. Now, you've got the solo from Weibo. It's Order. He's looking down on Falcons. He's going to manage to drop Ralph. Like I said, Order might be able to do it, but it's not going to happen. The crowd favorite team, Falcons, finally back in the winner's circle.
They find the elims, they find the shutdown. Team Falcons able to get a chicken dinner right towards the end. Weibo, they are into the smash point zone as well at the top of the tables, and 3 teams now stand atop the pack.
And Weibo is officially 1 point ahead of Alpha Gaming, putting them in second place. It's been a 2-horse race for the majority of this tournament, for the majority of grand finals, but finally Weibo has put themselves in a position to become champions themselves. But it comes down to one more map. One more Miramar to decide our new champion, PMWC 2025. A lot riding on the line and only one more opportunity to achieve greatness. We're going to take another break. When we come back, the final game of PMWC 2025 will be upon us.